Hello, Team NOTA. This is Karen, your Happy to Help dispatch. Please take your seats and prepare for your training to commence.
Good morning, NOTA Nation. So good to see all of you. Wow, I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude to see all of us here together. It's a rare event to have everybody here, especially in businesses like ours. You know, we're running 5:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. We have part-timers, we have full-timers, we have 2 locations. So to get everybody together like this is a real rare and precious moment. So I hope we can enjoy our time together. I think it's going to be a great day. The weather's perfect. I think it's going to be a great blend of learning, some refreshers, some connections with people, and some fun. So I think it's going to be a great day. Thank you for everyone who put this together. Our committee, Veronica and LJ were our committee, and we had a lot of other helpers that helped them along the way. So if you had a part of making today happen, I really appreciate all that you've done. So thank you very much. This was a lot of work. Yeah, I always get overwhelmed, especially seeing how much we've grown. But, you know, NOTA is our team, it's our family, but we're so much more than that. We're an incredible group of like-minded people that all have backstories of our own, but we've come together for the greater good. And we are here to help serve the less fortunate, to transport a rider with cancer, to help a rider with groceries who can barely walk, to offer compassion to a rider who's struggling. We at NOTA are here to make a difference in people's lives, and we also transport them safely where they need to go. We are NOTA, transportation that cares, and I feel blessed to work beside each of you. Yeah. As we head into the weekend, this long weekend, I hope we can enjoy this. I hope we can have some fun today. I love all your outfits. I'm glad you came with some great spirit today. Thank you for that. Thanks for playing along with us. I think it'll be fun. And I just want to give a little bit of history of where NOTA has been and where we're going, just to kind of, since we have a lot of new faces, some of you don't know where where we've been and where we're going. So NOTA started in 2001. And it was Orion, Oxford, and Addison townships. They did not want to be part of the Smart Millage, so they said they wanted to start their own. They kind of came together with 3 vans, 1 van for each community, and that's where it started. I started back in 2002, and in the 20 years between 2002 and 22, we had a lot of growth and a lot of change, but our pivotal moment was in November 22 when the Oakland County Transit Millage passed. And NOTA was named as one of the 5 providers of transportation in Oakland County. And that's when we really saw the growth happen. So if you were an employee for NOTA in November 22, can you please stand? Okay. I just want to show, I feel like visually it shows a lot different of saying that we've grown from 35 to 125 employees in 2 years. These are the original OGs, so welcome. Yeah, thank you. You're still here. Right. So, and where we're at right now, we're running daily routes, up to 56 routes a day. Our rides per month, we're under 3,000. We're over 9,000 a month now. So it's incredible growth. Last year, we started taking general population rides. And so it's been a year now, but still those are under 1% of our total population, because NOTA is always going to give priority to our seniors, our persons with disabilities, our veterans, and our low-income riders. You know, if we have capacity, we'll give the general public rides for sure, but that's always going to be our priority. To support this growth and expansion, we have a building expansion, renovation, and project in process. So right now we're picking a construction manager. It should be starting soon. It will be basically doubling our office space. Be taking most of this area will be office space, and our dispatchers who are in what used to be our lunchroom. I don't know if those of you that knew that actually used to be a lunchroom, but it was. They used to be up front. They're going to be moved out of there. We're going to get our lunchroom back, and we're going to also be renovating the back half. So this back half that we call our pickleball courts actually used to be rented out to to earn some money, but we needed the space. So now we're going to be renovating that space so that we can bring vehicles inside. So we'll be making it fire safe. So we'll be doing the fire suppression and exhaust fans and whatever. Nothing super fancy back there, but we will be cleaning up the offices, cleaning up the walls and floors, making a bus wash area so that we can pull vehicles in throughout the year to kind of clean them off, and updating the bathrooms, adding a shower, which will be nice, and hopefully adding some mechanic bays at some point. We didn't have that in the budget this year, but those are things that will be coming. We're looking forward to it. I know it's going to be messy. It's going to be disruptive and noisy, but we face these projects and we get through them. So I don't know if we have all the answers about how it's all going to work out, but I know we'll get through it. So what I'd like to do is recognize our employees, and I'd like to start with our driver recognition. So if you're a NOTA driver, can you please stand up? We have 102 drivers. Wow. Unbelievable. You're our front line. You represent NOTA to the public. You navigate traffic and weather. You deal with difficult riders and wheelchair securement. But you work with professionalism and a driver mindset, and you have a heart for those service to take care of each of those riders. Thank you for your service. I really appreciate you. Now I'd like to recognize the dispatchers, our dispatch team, our wonderful 15 dispatchers. Thank you. You guys juggle calls and schedules. Amazing. New software, logistics, tablets. You guys are multitasking all the time. Your empathy keeps us connected and caring. Thank you for all you do. Really appreciate that. I'd also like to introduce our amazing administrative team. We've restructured and strengthened our admin team to match our growth. And if I call your name, if you could please stand up. I'll start with Emma Pavla, our fabulous new deputy director. Emma is the glue that holds our dispatch and operations together. She's tough, but she's fair, with follow-through like a boomerang, with a clear vision for improving our processes. And of course, she's known for her bright personality and that unforgettable Australian accent that makes even policy talk sound charming. Thank you, Emma. All right. Next is Danielle Urich. Danielle? All right. Woo! Danielle is our amazing administrative and HR manager. Danielle shares my office every day, which means she deserves a medal, just putting up with me. She's absolutely invaluable, not just to me, but to everyone. She handles payroll, bookkeeping, HR, and countless other administrative tasks with grace and good humor. Thank you, Danielle, for all you do. Next is Rachel Ott, our talented operations finance specialist. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel started as a driver scheduler and has quickly become a trusted leader. She now manages accounting, grant oversight, and also takes board meeting minutes for me, so thank you. Her professionalism, helpful nature, and quick learning have made her a huge asset. We appreciate you. Next is Veronica Kanovnicki. Hey, our creative marketing and dispatch liaison. Veronica has taken the lead on our Facebook posts and social media and our new website launch, which will be coming soon. That's going to be launching in the next couple weeks. She balances her marketing and dispatch duties with creativity and dedication. And a big thank you also to you and to LJ for putting out today and making this happen. So thank you, Veronica. I also like to recognize Greg Heaton-Wyrick. Greg, he is, since I was talking about our social media posts, and I know he works with Veronica a lot. And Greg, you do a great job in taking a lot of our social media videos, which has given us great exposure, kind of telling the stories of our riders, which is so important. And also, I don't know if you've heard our little NOTA theme song that's being playing. Greg wrote that. Isn't that amazing? It's just unbelievable. So thank you, Greg. That's fantastic. Now I'd like to introduce our operations team. Jeff Brizendine. Jeff, our focused driver development manager. Jeff is known as the serious one of the group and is learning to grow a heart. We're proud of his progress. He's been developing a strong training program and led the rollout of OSHA and evacuation procedures. His attention to detail and safety-first mindset has been essential. We appreciate you, Jeff. We really do. All right. Roger Caban, yay, our friendly driver support operational leader. Roger is approachable, fun, and experienced. He shares an office with Jeff, and together they make a great personality mix. Rachel deserves credit putting up with both of them. He works the 9 to 5 shift, and with a background in car dealership operations, he's a great conversationalist who generally cares about his drivers he supports. Thanks, Roger. Next is Richard Kimmel, a reliable fleet and facility manager. Richard is truly invaluable, always willing to help anyone at any time. He starts bright and early, working 5:30 a.m. to 1:30, and keeps our vehicles and buildings running smoothly. He also manages logistics at the Independence Township location. His reliability and commitment are unmatched. We appreciate you. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Scott LeClaire. He's not here today. He's our newest operations member. He's our dedicated safety and compliance officer. So he started about 2 weeks ago. He unfortunately is out of town this week and couldn't be with us today. But when you're in the office, if you get a chance, please introduce yourself. He's a great guy. I think you'll really enjoy him. He's going to be working closely with operations and reporting directly to me to ensure that we align on safety and things. So he'll be a great, he's also going to help Jeff his load with the OSHA and a lot of other things. So we'll be happy to have him. Next, I'd like to introduce, we're talking about the driver trainers. I want to thank all of you who have played a part in the driver training program. It's been an evolution. There's been a lot of changes. You know, as we grow, we realize, okay, that's not quite right, and we change, and it's not quite right. And that's just part of what the evolution is when you're growing. You know, we try our best, and sometimes we have to start over and start again. So we are starting kind of a brand new driver training program, and I want to, again, thank you to every single one who's offered, and everyone has done so much as part of this program to make it where it is. But we have 4 full-time driver trainers, Lee Wilson and Vern Rayum, if you could stand. So our current NOTA drivers, Lee and Vern, welcome. We're really excited to have you. It's going to be a great new program. And I don't know if PJ and Ricky are here today. Are they both here? Ricky? Yeah? PJ Bootland? Oh, PJ, yeah, PJ, I'm sorry. Bootland, all right. Thank you. He'll be new. He's new to NOTA. We're happy to have you. So excited to have you part of this program. These updated rules will not only focus on onboarding new staff, but also on recurrent training and biannual assessments to continually sharpen our skills and enhance our safety across the board. Additionally, I'd like to introduce Teresa Colloon. Teresa is be stepping into our new lead dispatcher role, overseeing the dispatch team and helping alleviate Emma's dispatch responsibilities so Emma can focus on some broader operational goals. So welcome, Teresa. We're happy to have you. So safety is NOTA's #1 priority and goal overall. You know, over the past year or so, we faced 3 major incidences. Each one a stark reminder that our riders' safety and our reputation are intertwined. Our vision of transportation that cares means nothing if we don't deliver it safely. So safety here is non-negotiable. Zero tolerance for complacency. Every wheelchair and scooter must be secured properly every time. No cell phone usage. We're going to have rigorous training. Our sessions today are designed to refresh and reinforce our best practices. Vigilance on the road. You know, alertness and accountability start before you even pull out of the parking lot. And learning kind of defensive driving techniques are going to be important. So these are all things we mean. And so if you feel like today is just going to be touching on a lot of items, if you feel like you need additional support in anything, you come to one of the operations team and we will help you. So if you aren't feeling comfortable with securement of a difficult wheelchair, we'll repeat the training as much as possible to make sure you feel as comfortable and secure. It's because that's what we want. We want everyone to have the same feeling of confidence in their job and knowing that they can do whatever it is when they approach it. And not that we have all the answers, we don't, but we'll try our best to try to support you and educate you on that. So, and we owe it to our riders, many of whom are vulnerable, to treat every trip with the same care we'd give our own family. When we slip, we risk more than just a bad day. We jeopardize lives and trust. So safety is definitely important. Please embrace today's safety training wholeheartedly. Let's prove that NOTA isn't just caring, it's the safest and most reliable transportation partner in Oakland County. Looking ahead, I've been with NOTA since 2002, and the growth and change we've experienced lately is unbelievable. But this is just the beginning. It's a 10-year millage with Oakland County. We'll continue to grow, expand, and connect more people across the county with more cross-provider transfers, better technology, and improved service. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this journey, for showing up, for giving your best, for making NOTA a place that truly cares. You care about our riders, you care about our service, we care about you. So thank you. Now, let's have some fun. After today's breakout sessions and lunch, we'll move into our afternoon celebrations with games, raffles, and our fundraiser. The admin who collects the most money in their donation jars, which are up here, will take a hit in a water balloon toss, which will be fun. All the money raised will go to support Ed Jr. For those of you who don't know him, he's been a long time NOTA driver, and he is battling stage 4 cancer. So this is for him, and let's show him that NOTA supports each other. We'll also be announcing our Best Dressed Award, taking a group photo, and having some cornhole, pick-and-ball, and some other games. So in closing, I'd like to give some recognition to our survey. So before we move into our next session, as you know, our vehicle surveys have been live for some weeks, and our rider incentives have come to a close. And today marks the close of our incentives for our drivers. But the survey is going to remain on indefinitely because, obviously Oakland County is wanting this, and it's really good information. We're enjoying actually seeing all this information. It'll show the comments that are coming are really positive. So far, thanks to your hard work and dedication, we've received, my last count was 1,056 surveys, which is unbelievable, with a 95% satisfaction rating. That's incredible, which is the highest in Oakland County. NOTA's been setting the bar, and all of the other providers are wondering how we're doing it. And I think these incentives have really helped, but the drivers pushing it have really been a big boost for us, where they actually recognized NOTA at the Oakland County Board of Commissioners last month because they're saying how amazing of a job we're doing. And we're hearing, it's not that we're getting the surveys, but it's a 95% satisfaction, and the county's reading all the comments of our riders. And I'm trying to find a way to share all those comments with you because they're really important to read, because you'll see what a difference you're making in these people's lives, because it's their stories and it's so important. So we're trying to work on a way to share that information with each of you. We're going to have some information on this TV, but stay tuned. We're working on it, but it's important information. But I am proud to honor our overall survey champion, to Christian Pandrick. Will you please stand, Christian? Yay! Had 105 surveys. That's huge. And Steve Zubrak was close behind you. I know you guys were in a competition there, but you made the competition fun and inspiring. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. And we also have a winner of the random raffle of 8 hours of PTO goes to Lila Joslin, LJ. Congratulations. I don't know where she is. Yay! That's great. Well, let's make today count. Let's learn, let's connect, and let's have some fun. And yes, let's make sure someone gets soaked. I personally am filling Emma's jar. Yeah, so go NOTA. All right. Thank you. Now I'm pleased to introduce Crystal from Employment Options Unlimited. There we go, Crystal, who leads the Vital Job Coach program for some of our most vulnerable riders. Crystal, thank you for being here and sharing important insights on how this program empowers and supports our riders. Thank you, Crystal.
Good morning, everybody. As Lynn shared, I'm Crystal Roshan. I'm the Program Director of Employment Options Unlimited, also known as EOU. You guys have, I don't even know the number of riders you guys have with us now. As Lynn shared, it used to be just individuals that lived in Lake Orion and Oxford and Addison Township. You guys are now supporting individuals we have living in Clarkston, Ortonville, which is huge for us because you are one of the #1 transportation companies we recommend. The drivers we have had a long-standing relationship with, Nigel. You guys have always made it a point to get to know our individuals and to treat them with dignity, respect, and care, which makes them enjoy getting on the vans, enjoy going on those rides. We do have some newer individuals who are still learning the public transportation. So your support with them would be amazing, getting out of the car, introducing yourself, and making sure that they feel in, that you care for them and that you are willing to listen and take them safely to their destinations. A lot of you have learned that in your little notepads or your tablets now, there's notes for our individuals. We put those on so that you get to know the safety regulations of those individuals. None of our folks can be left unsupervised. That's why when somebody gets left at a site, we're calling. Dispatch knows my voice very well. We're calling because those are individuals that are highly vulnerable. They are people that will wander off. Those are people that are willing to get into a car with somebody who just walks up to them and say, "Hey, you look lost. Can I take you home?" So that's the reason why we are so adamant on making sure you stay with those individuals. Another thing is if you leave them and something happens, their families are not going to be upset with us. They're going to be upset with you. The safety with the wheelchairs. I will be honest, we have one of the most difficult wheelchairs you guys will deal with Donnie. Donnie Maskell is one of our guys that have been a rider with you guys for a long time. If you're not comfortable with tying down his wheelchair, ask for more training, because he has been one that unfortunately has had a driver not secure him properly and he's tipped over in that van. And it doesn't just take mom, dad, you guys to help get him up. It's a whole having to call the fire department to get him safely taken out of that van and put back in his chair, and then that upsets him greatly. Another thing I want you guys to know, that you have the ability, if somebody is coming out of the house and you don't think they are safe to go to their location, you have the ability to take them back to the door and say, "I'm sorry, but this individual should not be going in today." You guys are our touch point between home and coming to the site. If you see that somebody, and I'm gonna put out his name, Stephen Deutsch, if he comes out of the door and he looks highly confused, doesn't look like he's been dressed for the day, you have every right to take him back to the door and say, "I'm sorry, but I don't think it's safe for him to go in today." That's your right. That's your ability. You are safely and securely transporting these individuals to their sites. We appreciate and value your service more than anybody in Oakland County. I will tell you that right now. I didn't know about your surveys, but I will be sure to find the survey and provide. I was one of the providers that provided the recommendation for you guys for Oakland County. You were one of the first transportation companies that I recommended. I am so glad that you guys have expanded as much as you have, because I know our individuals are safely getting to those sites. They're cared for, they're listened to, and I know that it's not easy. Some of our individuals are hard to understand. They don't process what is being said what they're thinking of wanting to say before it comes out of their mouth. We have some individuals who want you to take them on trips to get ice cream and donuts and buy sodas and things like that. That is not your job. You do not have to do that. And actually, there's a lot of people who have dietary restrictions. And I'm sure me saying that, a lot of you know who I'm talking about. She can be the most difficult person to deal with, but she is the sweetest, most lovable person once you get to know her, I promise you. She is one of the people I've worked with for over 20 years. And I have a relationship with NOTA since the beginning. I know I have a close relationship with Pat, who's your former director. I went to school with her daughter. So NOTA has been near and dear. I'm an Oxford girl from growing up to graduating to adulthood. So you guys have been a staple in my life, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I am putting it out for the dispatchers and Lynn and Emma. If a driver wants my phone number to get more information, to feel more comfortable with any of our riders, absolutely. I am more than willing to come in and sit with new drivers and give them a feel for the individuals that they're going to be driving. I am more than willing to come in and give, HIPAA is a huge thing. You guys have our riders, but that's another thing that I would like to share more information on with your folks. You know, we don't share our folks' information with anybody other than what they're authorized. Your Facebook posts, I love. Absolutely love seeing my riders on your Facebook. It is a joy. I love it. It warms my heart. You guys, Ed, he's been a long time driver for our folks, and our folks have been asking about him. My mom's actually friends with his wife, Kim, and stuff, so I do get some information. But you guys are always in my thoughts and prayers. I wanted to be here today just to kind of let you guys see my face, know who I am, know you guys drive and support some of the most vulnerable people in Oakland County. When I think of any of the Oakland County public transportations, if they say they're using WOTA, I am like, nope, let me check their boundaries. If they're with NOTA, I want them with NOTA. WOTA will not provide the service, the door-to-door service that you guys do. And it is the biggest thing that makes that transportation for our folks so much easier, so much more, I'm struggling with the word because I can't express how much you guys are appreciated. It's just the assistance you guys provide to our individuals, the personal care is unimaginable. It's beyond words. So we thank you guys immensely for everything you do. If you get a call from dispatch because I'm having an issue with somebody who's gotten dropped off or somebody's late, please just share your locations. If you're running late, don't be ashamed. Our individuals are if the ride's not there when they say they're going to be there, they get very antsy. They get very scared. They get very worried that they've been forgotten. Please just give dispatch a call and say, hey, I'm running about 5 minutes late. Can you let Andrea know? Can you let Crystal know? And I don't even think, dispatch, you don't even have to call the homes. Call me. I will take care of the frustration. Vicki knows. Vicki knows me very well. A lot of you have talked to me. I try not to be frustrated. When I'm frustrated, usually I will call and I will specifically ask for Veronica, Emma, or Vicki because they know me. And they know that my frustration is just worry for our individuals. So thank you immensely for all you do. New drivers, you're learning. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. Don't hesitate to call and ask your admin. They're wonderful. They're some of the most amazing people that I've had the privilege of working with for 20 years. So with that, do any of you have any questions that I might be able to clear up for you in regards to our population? All right. Thank you so much for letting me come and see you all and express my gratitude and share my feedback with you. Again, if you guys ever need me to come step in with newer drivers to sit down and personally provide some information, give me a call. Emma has my number, Vicki has my number, and I appreciate all of you, and I hope you all have a wonderful 4th of July.
Oh, do you want to? Oh, is it Smitty or is it going to be? I believe that next on the agenda we have some safety and sensitivity talks, and with Smitty today we have setting the tone. Thank you, and thank you so much, Crystal.
Goodbye. Well, some of this is going to be a little bit of a repeat from what you've heard already, but wow, when I agreed to do this, I forgot how many people I was talking to. When I started with NOTA in 2017, July actually, so it's 8 years this month, I was looking for a little part-time job. I'd been retired for 10 years, and I found NOTA, and I thought it would be a fun job. I love to drive. I like people, so I figured it'd be good. What I learned quite right away was there was a lot more to it than just taking people from point A to point B. We had people like Larry Hapke, who trained me. He's here today. Gordy, a lot of people that had Nigel. I don't know, I'm going to miss some, so I'm going to stop. James Barnhart. I saw their heart and what we would do for riders, besides just taking them from point A to point B. So I'm hoping by doing this today that you will, if you're new, I've seen a lot of you, you've caught the fever, the NOTA fever, but I want to share a story because my son, I don't share this with many people. I have a picture here that I'm going to give you. My son William, he's my oldest. He was a pretty normal kid. He had some issues. He was born with hydrocephalus, but he had a job and he drove a car and he worked. And then in June of 1995, in San Jose, California, he was attacked at a bus stop. And he ended up, I'm going to pass this around so you can see what he looked like in 1992 and what he looks like today and how people react to him. And that's why I like this job. It's going to be hard for me to do this today, but William can be very difficult now. He was a nice young man who was cooperative, who would do anything for anybody. But after the attack, he had a traumatic brain injury, and it changed the way he thinks. And I know some of the people that we drive can be tough sometimes. They can be rude and nasty. But I'm telling you that if from my own experience with my son, it just takes one bad word in the morning. It just takes one negative experience to wreck his whole day and his whole week. Because he has a hard enough time getting along, and people look at him. You take him to a store to go shopping, people look at him like he's a circus freak. They think he's dangerous. They get upset. Sometimes he'll say, you know, he has no executive function. If you don't know what that is, that's the way we think and decide whether or not to say something that's inappropriate or bad. He'll walk up to a cashier, a pretty young girl, and say, boy, you have beautiful eyes. And that sometimes that turns people right off. And all he's trying to do is be friendly. So I'm encouraging you, even when people are difficult, try to keep it happy. And that's why I get out of my bus each and every time to meet somebody at the door of the bus. I don't sit in the bus, I get out at the door, especially for our vulnerable ones, because I want to look them in the eye. I want to give them a big smile. My son, if you smile at my son, it makes his day. He just wants to be liked. He just wants to be respected like anybody else. So I do this job now because, well, I love it for one thing, but I also do it because I want to treat people that we deal with like I would like my son treated. I will tell you an experience he had. There's a place called Paracruz in Santa Cruz, and they take disabled people. And he had a guy who was so mean to him the first time because he's slow, he can't move, his feet don't work, his legs don't work like yours and mine do. So when he was walking out to the bus, the guy yelled at him to hurry up, and that was the end of it. He'll never ride that service again. So now his mother, my ex-wife, has to deal with that all the time to take him. So I'm just asking, if you're new and you get to know what Crystal just said, if you can get to learn to have patience with people and just treat them like human beings, because that's what they are. Last year we had fun at the softball game. I recommend we do that again. That was a lot of fun. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. I'm not going to talk long. But I think some of our writers are going through things that you and I cannot imagine. Most of us have children. We know what it's like to have children. We have hopes and dreams for our kids. And can you imagine some of the people that we drive, the struggle that their parents have? They have to deal with this day in and day out. And we can make it easier for them by treating their children with respect and with kindness. Kindness is cheap. It's easy to do. So that's all I wanted to say today was please, if you're new and you haven't caught it yet, just remember this job is so much more than just taking somebody from one place to another. You can have it. And at the end of the day, the biggest perk I get from this job is the feeling I get having helped people all day long. So I just encourage you to take that perk that's free. They don't put it on your paycheck, but it's there. So I just encourage you. Thank you for the time. And I'll turn this back over. I think Richard's going to talk next, right?
Okay, good morning. For those of you who are unfortunate enough not to know who I am, my name is Richard Kimmel. I am lead driver, I suppose, and operations support, meaning I do a lot of the grunt work around here. Only in the morning, though. Only in the morning. Ty, where's Ty? Ty, I'm going to take my hat off, but it's still me, okay? All right. He didn't recognize me without my hat. I started here at NOTA January 2nd, 2024. My son, Alex, how many of you know Alex? Hoy vey. My son, Alex, has been riding NOTA for a number of years, probably 10, 12, possibly, yeah, at least 10 years. He's been riding NOTA. They would pick him up from work. He works just down the road here and bring him home. Alex has autism. Okay. I semi-retired the summer of 2023. My wife said, I don't care what you do, get out of the house. And she found that NOTA was hiring drivers. So I gave a call and I came down and I went through the interview process. And I was trained, I was hired, then I was trained by some of the most kind-hearted people I had ever met in my life. All right? I'm not going to name you because it would just make your head swell. But these people really cared about what they were doing. All right? And I wanted to be part of that team. And I am. Praise the Lord. I'm glad to be here. All right? My son, Alex, is 33 years old. Okay? He is hired by different entities, groups across the country to give presentations. They will pay for his airfare. They will pay for his hotel room. All right? They will pay for his meals. He and his mother have seen more of this country than I ever will. He's been to Canada twice, so now he's international. Yeah, try and get that over that big head. And there is talk, September, he's been invited to Denmark to give presentations. Now, his presentations consist of PowerPoints concerning culture of gentleness, interactions from an autistic person's point of view. Okay? It was funny, one time when he was given a presentation and he was discussing his friends and how he likes to be not just invited, but actually interacted with, okay? You can be invited to the best party of all, but if no one's going to interact with you, what good is it? Well, somebody in the audience, now mind you, these are parapros, teachers, people of that nature. One of them asked him, okay, Alex, Wouldn't you like some regular friends? And Alex's response was, no, I prefer my friends constipated. Right? I mean, he's like everyone else. He's like all of us, all of you. Neurotypical is what, we could term normal. Neurodiversive would be folks with autism or some other different way of thinking, okay? The most important thing when he gives these presentations, number one, he needs to feel safe, okay? If he can feel safe, then he can feel welcome, and he can interact in a more enveloping way. He's not a big talker unless you start talking Disney films. All right? Kid won't shut up. He can tell you every year a Disney film came out. But feeling safe, feeling secure, feeling accepted and interacted with, that's all these people want. All right? They want what you and I want. Alex is, he's on softball team. He plays bocce. He's on a bocce team. He's in a choir. He's not just sitting at home watching TV. Now, I know other folks with autism, if you would, are big into music, right? Yeah. His son is like camping out at Pine Knob every weekend. The guy loves to go to concerts. Okay? They just think a little bit differently. It takes some time to get from here to here. All we have to do is be patient. Smile. 15 minutes, right? That's all you need to spend, just 15 minutes. But make it the best 15 minutes of their day. That's all we can do, all right? Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. That's amazing. I believe we have Danielle coming up next to talk to us a little bit about HR matters. So Danielle, our Human Resources Manager. And I think there's more to the title, but I struggle to remember all of our new titles. Thank you all.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we need to go over Richard's title because he didn't get his title right, but that's okay. I just have a couple quick announcements today. First, I wanted to congratulate the June Employee of the Month, and that is Scott Quant. He received the most votes from all of you guys, and I just wanted to say thank you for that and make sure to get your July votes in as well. Secondly, starting this week or next week, whenever it arrives from Amazon, we're going to have suggestion boxes in both of our locations, so that's Clarkston as well. We really value your input, and this has been a great way for you guys to share your ideas and give us feedback, whether anonymously or not. And we've been very happy with the suggestions we've received so far. We wanted to let you guys know we hear you, we're listening, and we're trying to make changes that best suits everybody here. And then lastly, as I mentioned in one of my many emails, we were hoping to do a quick question and answer today with pre-submitted questions. However, we only received one question, but it was a good question. So it was, what are we supposed to do if our shifts end early? And since that's a very loaded question, I'm going to see if Emma would take that.
Here I am again. You're going to get sick of me. Thank you so much, Danielle. Most of you know me pretty well by now. And I know that the accent can be deceiving, but I'm not actually the nice one. We are so lucky we work for Lynn. We have Danielle. These ladies are amazing and lovely. And I'm like, okay, if you're finished early, what do? Keep working. So if you're full-time, for example, let's say you're scheduled to finish at 5 and your last ride finishes at 3 and you're back at the office 3:15. Number one, communicate. Communicate with dispatch. Like, we talk about communication all the time, and it is just paramount. It's the most important thing. Let us know. And then you never know. Somebody could be coming up. Someone could be looking for someone right now because we've missed a rider, or Deanna's been held up with a late rider over there, or Bob's been held up somewhere else. For whatever reason, there's so many variables. So we might have something for you right then and there. So always, always, please check in with dispatch. Part-time, full-time, whatever you are, check in with us. And then let's say there's nothing. I actually have behind my desk, which is out there in the dispatch office, a list of things that can be done. Number one, you can communicate with Roger if it's the afternoon, or Richard in the morning also. They may have oil changes that need to be done. We have a Zamboni, and it's one of the training stations today. So after today, you will know how to use the Zamboni in the power washer. See if the floor needs cleaning. Power wash your van, mop your van out. We're supposed to mop our vans every day, and I know that you Clarkston people can't do that because you don't have the facilities set up. However, if you have a couple of hours at the end of the day, come over to Oxford. Call dispatch and say, hey, can you put a ride in, a dummy, for me to come over and mop my van out? And they will. So there's always something that can be done. But let's say it just feels like there's not. Someone already Zambonied the floor. You've mopped out your vehicle, everything's done. Then again, communicate. So if you're part-time, you may actually be asked to just clock out early. That's fine. Full-timers, we really prefer to get our 40 hours out of you. But if you are done and you'd like to clock out early, let us know first, if you can, because there's other impacts as well. So say we see you on the schedule till 5, and you haven't let us know that you're finishing early, we might have an add-on at 3:30 that we're trying to call you for, and you don't have your radio on because you've already clocked out. So let us know. And then what can be done if you're a 40-hour person is you can check in with Rachel. She might be able to say, yeah, go home an hour early today. We're going to make this up with 2 half hours, later in the week, so we still get your 40 hours in and you don't miss any pay. Other than that, if it's a couple of hours, you might want to take PTO. Again, we'd like to get those 40 hours in. But that's what I'm recommending. So in a minute, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we're doing about that problem. But first of all, I'm going to talk about a few things, so have some patience. I just want to ask, is there anyone here who can give me one detail, any detail, about any email that I've sent in the last 2 weeks? Lila's got her hand up. She's got her hand up first, Smitty. Lila, stand up. Tell me what I've emailed out. I send a lot of communication.
That, first of all, there's a training thing today, and second of all, that we have to wear red, white, and blue, and I don't know if everyone got the memo.
Woo-woo! Okay, so for that, Lila is going to be awarded, and this is just an indication of some of the fun you're going to have later today. She gets a fancy Ride NOTA cup. Lila, come and get your cup. So some of the initiatives that we're going to take to make sure that you really get all of the messages that we send, because I know I send a lot, and I know it's a lot to read through all of that every time. But sometimes you might want to just double check, because in the middle somewhere, and this is PJ gave me this idea, one of our brand new trainers, there's going to be something that says the first person to respond to me with a comment about this email is going to get NOTA swag, can come in and get it. And then the first person will. So read your stuff. The swag, yeah, maybe it's not lots of money or anything like that. It's not a winning the lottery, but it's still kind of cool, and you still get kudos and recognition for it. So keep your eye out for that. The other thing is I'm going to have these new training position people start the conversation. So I'm going to want people out there talking about whatever we're communicating, which I think is exciting. All right, so to go on with some of the topics that I've got. Let's go to the most talked about topic lately, from me anyway, and the most questions I've got, the most comments. It's about the schedules. So we know, and if you read my emails, you'll remember what I said, some days you come in and you get 10 rides on an 8-hour shift and you're busy, and you go all day. And some people are like, oh, I loved it. That was the best day ever. I took all my favorite riders. It was wonderful. And then other days you might get 3 cancellations. And then you've got like 3 hours possibly, and you've got nothing to do. It's like, well, what do I do? You know, this is boring. And it is. Again, there's always lots to do. Check in with us. We'll find you something to do. But in order to manage that better, what we are doing is looking at an overhaul of the entire driver schedule. As you can imagine, we've got over 100 drivers now. That's a lot. There's over 30 full-timers. The rest are part-time, which means they're all over the place. A lot of you work relatively regular shifts, and a lot of you are subs as such, and you come in on whatever days you're called into work. So we're going to do some analysis. Scott, who's not here today, but you'll all meet next week, hopefully. He's going to help me with some data analysis, and with Teresa helping out in dispatch. I'm going to have lots of time. We're going to look at better meeting exactly where our rider needs are. So at the moment, I don't know if you've heard from riders, but sometimes there's complaints, oh, I can't get a ride at 3 o'clock. Yeah, we're really busy at 3 o'clock. We've got everybody going home from work. We've still got dialysis patients. We've got a lot happening. So we know that we're at capacity at 3 o'clock, and we know that we need more drivers out at 3. So we've actually put on a couple of routes just in the last couple of weeks that are 5-hour routes, 2 to 7, 3 to 8, some 6 to 11s in the morning. So there's more 5-hour shifts. That's so that you work your shift and you get busy and you enjoy yourself and get out there with those wonderful riders that we have. The 10-hour shifts, I know you've all read the email, and I know you're all looking at me like, ugh, I don't like the sound of this. Eventually, we don't really want to have too many 10-hour shifts. We have a lot of space in the middle of the day, and we don't need to fill that up. So if anyone would like to volunteer to move over to some 8-hour shifts, and I've had some volunteers already, and I really appreciate that, we're slowly but surely going to be revamping the entire roster. I'm calling it Series 300 because of the way that Rachel's designed it. So if you're interested, talk to me about what your preferences are, but bear in mind that we are doing this so that we can meet our rider needs, so that your day isn't empty, so that we don't, you might notice we've cancelled some shifts lately. We've had some part-timers and we've said, hey, we don't actually need you today. We've had some cancellations. We're going to be scheduling more tightly, and then instead of doing that, the aim is we're going to call you in. You shouldn't get a call saying, hey, we don't need you today. Although it could happen, it's not ruled out. But more likely, we're going to call people and say, well, you know what? We've got 5 rides on the wait list right now. Can you please come in for this 5, 8 hours, whatever it is that we really need? So we're really looking to cover things better. So just if you have any questions ever, please ask me. Please read the messages that I send out and pay attention, because I'm really trying to communicate things that I believe matter, things that help us.
I just wanted to say, I've seen on Partner, it says shift available and open for the next couple of days. I really like that.
So when you see an open shift on Heartland, that is actually an error. That is not an available shift. So let's say, Greg, your shifts, your riders all cancelled today. They all cancelled. They were like, oh, I'm on Greg's. No, I don't know who I'm on. If I don't get that, Greg, I don't want to come. Maybe I don't want to come. And they've all cancelled. And we've actually called you and said, look, Greg, I'm really sorry. We don't have any rides for you today. Hopefully the day before. That's the aim. What we do, sometimes we just take you off that shift and the shift just floats away to the top and says open shift. It's not, because we didn't have any rides for it. So don't try and pick up those shifts. Don't be fooled by them. Don't think, oh, I've got an open shift on my schedule. I'm coming in. It's an error. And if you're ever confused, call and ask. Call dispatch, call me, call Rachel. We're always happy to do our best to answer your questions. All right, so I think that's about all I had to really talk about today. And I don't want to take up too much time because we're coming into the really fun part where we actually get some training. Dispatch is going to be in with all of you too. We're all assigned to groups, and Brizzo will go more into that, but get to know your dispatchers while you're here. I sent out the photos of everyone recently, so get to know everyone. But just finally, I just wanted to say, Lynn's talked about how much we've grown, and it has been phenomenal. It's been incredible. It's been a journey. The journey's not over. We're plateauing a little, which is great because you cannot sustain this kind of growth. But we're still in a period of growth and change. We're still in a period of continuous improvement. What we're here, or what I'm trying to work towards in the role that I have here, is to improve the service that we offer our riders, to meet rider needs, and that's talking about rider demand, capacity for rides at the time of day, all of those things. I look after escalated complaints quite often, so if a rider's complaining to you, they might be complaining to me too. And we're looking to set the benchmark for public transit in Oakland County. And Lynn's mentioned already, we've been mentioned, they talk about NOTA. We are talked about. We need to be competitive. We need to be the best. We need to look after our riders. And we like to be noticed. It's nice. So we are being talked about. You know, NOTA is really up there with county discussion, with all sorts of things. So keep it up. And we're getting a new dashboard created for the survey. So soon we'll have it up on that TV out there with scrolling comments as to what people are saying about us. Because you will really like seeing it. It's amazing. It's really cool. I don't know if it's most of you, but a lot of you have had your names mentioned by riders in those comments. I've seen things like, and I'll mention Steve because he's not even here. I love Steve. He's my favorite driver. You know, Christian knows he's had some comments. We put them out there because he got so many surveys done. So thank you for that. Coming up, if you have any questions or concerns, you know that I'm always around. If you want to ask me, send me an email. You know, I'll get, and if I'm busy, and I know I always look busy, just leave me a note, send me a message, I will get back to you. I appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you. Thank you for coming today. I know for some of you, this is normally your day off. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your input today, because you are going to have input, and I know you're all going to participate and have fun. Thank you to the trainers. Thank you for everything that you do every day. You know, the drivers, you guys are out there. You are the face of NOTA. Dispatch is the voice of NOTA. Thank you for everything you do. You're seen, you're valued, and you guys are the reason that we are NOTA. We are transport that cares. So on that, thank you all again. I'm going to close up here and give it to Brizzo to tell you all where you're going and what we're doing from here. Thank you all.
Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck. Okay, everybody. Good morning and thank you again. A lot of what I wanted to talk about, the training, has already been covered, so I'm not going to beat that into the ground. But I will say, if I do seem serious, it's because I do take it seriously. I've been in transportation for 40 years. I'm not even 60 yet, so most of my life has been dealing with this. I've dealt with a lot of injuries, a lot of crashes, even fatalities. So if I seem serious, it's because we need to take it seriously. We all want to get home to our families. That's why we come to work, is to make a living, take care of people, be out in the public, and then get home and do what we like to do with our families. So it's serious, and to address that, we're going to do some additional training, some new training. We're going to talk about defensive driving, some tricks, some techniques that maybe you don't know, maybe you haven't learned, maybe you've never used. I can say since I've been here, just 6 months, we've been hit at least 6 times by other drivers. Hit in the rear, sideswiped, T-boned, you name it, and it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. We're out there in the public dealing with bad drivers, crazy drivers, okay? So we're putting our own lives at risk every single day being out there. We're putting our riders at risk, just taking them from point A to point B. So we're going to train on that. We're going to focus on it, and we're going to get better at it. To get home safely every day. That's the goal. Everybody gets home safe every day. A couple of things we're going to work on, like I said, defensive driving. We're going to work on back and crash avoidance. We're going to work on safe work methods, just simply walking and traveling safely, looking where we're stepping, that kind of thing. We're going to work on securement and get better at that, because I know there's room to improve in that. And we're going to just work on using the equipment and the facilities safely and properly, again, to provide a safe experience for ourselves and everybody out there. So you've met the trainers. We're going to be working with all of you. We're going to be getting out on the road with everybody and evaluating people, refresher training, all of that stuff, just to get us all up to where we can be the best we can be and be the safest we can be. So with that, we've got some training planned today. We've got fun planned today as well, but the training is broke out into 6 stations. We're going to rotate from one to the next approximately every 20 minutes, okay? And you'll be notified. So when that time comes, we're going to rotate basically a clockwise fashion. When that's all done, we're going to meet outside in the back at roughly 1 o'clock. We're going to take pictures. We'd like everybody to try to stick around for the group photo. There's going to be food. There's going to be some fun, games, all that stuff that we have planned for you that you kind of already heard about. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know where their starting point is. We are running a little bit ahead of schedule, so there's a little bit of time to get to the bathroom and that kind of thing before we get going. But everybody's got a name tag with a color. Everybody's got a team, basically. We've got 6 teams, 6 colors. And here's where you're going to start out. And again, you're going to work in a clockwise fashion from your starting point. So green team. Can't see any green. There we go. Okay, you're going to be working on securement over here with Nigel. Red team is going to be in the dispatch office working on tablet training. Who's yellow? Okay, you guys are lucky. You get to go right to the lunch table and start eating. So don't overdo it. Yellow to the lunch. Blue is going to be in the back office, back there in the pickleball area for OSHA training. Purple team is going to the power wash training, and that is the very back of the building. And then pink? Okay. Pink team, you're going to also be in the back, and there's some backing exercises out there in the back of the building. So everybody, we got a couple of minutes, but then go ahead and report to your stations, and we've got some copies up here if you need to know where to go. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna do tablet training. Does everybody check their manifests at the start of the day and make sure that you've got time between your stops to get there, to load wheelchairs, to load anybody, to eat lunch, to go to the bathroom? Okay, you do that, you wanna make sure you call dispatch. You can do it when you do your radio check. If you've got something that doesn't work for some reason, let dispatch know. They can drop a rider off or switch it to somebody else, so that you have time to get where you're going safely. Make sure you get a lunch, make sure you get a break. So we wanna make sure that we do that. Before you leave the lot, you wanna make sure that you count the number of riders that you, or the number of rides that you're giving. Write it down somewhere, keep it updated through the day with your cancellations and your add-ons, because at the end of the day, they want us to start looking at the EOD screen, which is right down here at the bottom. So let's see if we can, whoop, there we go, come on. This is doing all sorts of craziness on me here. Okay, there we go. So we click on our EOD screen and it's still not working. So this is your EOD screen. You get to it from your manifest. You hit on the bottom here. And at the end of the day, they want us to be looking at the expected fares, which is up here, your paper ticket amounts, your cash amounts. You should be looking at that and looking at what's in your box. And you want it to total up, just like you do with your sheets. That's all you need to worry about in here for right now. And if it doesn't match, we just want to know that it doesn't match. You don't have to worry about it particularly.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Like I pick up a rider, right? Usually when they come on, you get the token, put it in, right? Well, some of the riders, when that works out, they don't give you the tokens. Drop it.
Right.
So I think, I'm understanding the computer doesn't do that, right? You got to fill that on like a remark or on the note.
Yep.
At the end of the day.
Yep.
Okay, on that, because, I was doing it, and while I figured that out.
Yeah.
There are different drivers that it works out, they give you a token and they're dropped off,
Right.
So,
Yeah, I actually just found out about that the other day. So keep a list going, just paper list. If you have somebody that pays you in the middle of their ride and you can't record it at pickup, it won't connect with dispatch if you record it at drop off.
Oh, really?
Right, so just track it on a list, because otherwise it gets all screwed up.
Go into messages and put a note.
Oh, yeah, you could do that too.
Yeah, I make notes in the message part.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys see them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
we do get them.
And sometimes I write them on my summary sheet as well. Just
Yeah, it's good. I think it's most helpful if you write it on the sheet, just so, because we look at that when we're doing the reconciliation.
I try to do both.
Okay. Oh, let's see, what else do we got here? Okay, does anybody have any questions about the job coach setups? You all know that the instructions appear in the notes in caps if you have somebody who needs a job coach. They are our most delicate riders. You cannot drop them off early and drive away. You can't let them off to go to the bathroom and go park and go find them.
I'm so sorry. Because I do have a rider that I often have to have something to use the restroom while we're waiting. And I contacted dispatch and they said it's fine as long as I go with them.
Okay, yeah. For something like that, if you've been given permission, then that's cool, as long as dispatch knows about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a couple things, like a double rider or something like that. On that, the computer or something, I don't know, it didn't take that in or something, it come up double rider. I have to put the GPS and stuff in it. Then a couple times on my laptop, it come up red, in that. And that red, that wasn't even on my list, you know, that first of the morning,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, which I just called the dispatcher to make sure, you know, somehow that come up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that they corrected that, so.
Yeah.
I noticed it kind of helps the dispatcher,
Yep.
you know, and then so,
Yeah, just let them know if there's something different and they can take care of that. If you're worried about parking in a fire lane and you can't park in the line to drop off riders with job coaches, you can park elsewhere in the parking lot. Just either get back in the line once you see the job coach come out, or get out with the rider and walk them up to the job coach. Make sure they get acknowledged before you walk away. Arriving, performing, and departing. So they've told us to hit arrive once our wheels stop. A lot of times that causes a problem because of the drive mode, which I know all of us absolutely love. What I usually do is I stop like at the intersection before their street, or I pull over as soon as I'm on their street, and I go back into the manifest and I let the drive mode drop off, and then I reselect it, and at that point usually it doesn't go back to drive mode before I get to their house. I can see the right house number, and then once I've dropped them off, I'll go in and I'll put a message in that says that the address is wrong and what the right message is. I don't know if you guys know on here that we have canned messages as well as messages that you can write. The canned messages can't be edited, so if it doesn't have exactly what you want to say in there, you're better off using the chat because you can't change these. But if it's got what you need, that's a quicker way to let dispatch know that there's a problem. Okay, perform. I usually hit perform as soon as I see the rider. You know, they're walking out their front door, okay, I'll hit perform. I'm seeing them, I'm getting ready to interact with them. And then I leave, that runs until they get in the bus and they've paid me. And then I hit depart as I'm rolling away.
That's what I do, because if they're a no-show,
Mm-hmm.
you want to be able to have no-show.
Right.
Choice.
Yep, and that's on the perform screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had this situation last week over in the trail, over home. I scheduled to pick the lady up there.
Mhm.
I get there, right, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. So I called the number or something on the phone.
Mhm.
She didn't come out, and then I think the daughter come out and said that they put her in the hospital doing that. So I contact dispatch, and that, to tell them and then relate that to the other driver. That's, and that the other driver will know that, and that not
Yep.
change their route, so we have.
Yeah, and that's something we want to do if you have a cancellation or a no-show, is to make sure that the pickup driver has gotten contacted, either by dispatch, or if they're busy, you can find out who the pickup driver is yourself, and you can reach out to them and just let them know that they don't need to do that pickup. Yeah.
Could you address getting 2 tokens for like a dementia patient when you're not the return driver? I know what I do, but could you
Mhm.
address it?
If I were going to do that, I think I would probably just record both of them, but then I would put a message in that this is a dementia patient, they paid me 2 tokens, rather than discuss it with them. Can you just please subtract one of the tokens from their balance?
I do
So
that, but
that
I
they-
tell dispatch to let the return driver know so that
Mhm.
they're not expecting a token.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea,
Okay.
yeah, okay,
I want to make sure that's right.
yeah,
Well, I don't know who the other driver is.
They call dispatch.
yeah, call dispatch and find it
That's why
out,
they call it dispatch.
yeah,
Okay. I let dispatch do it, but yeah, that works too.
yep.
Okay.
Okay. So the map 2 function that is giving us all such headaches, the only way that's gonna get fixed is if we all use map 2 and if we all record the inaccurate addresses and let dispatch know so that they can make the changes. If we don't do that, they don't know there's a problem and they can't change it. So it's really important that you map to every drop-off that you do, even if you know where it is, just turn your volume off, you can ignore the map. But check that address as you're going in, just to make sure that it's not a range or telling you Oakland County or Orion Township or something like that. And make sure you put the correct address in so that dispatch can get it changed for us.
Yeah, maybe stress that this is to help your fellow drivers.
Yeah,
I don't think people, they think that,
It's-
like, they want you to You can hit map 2 and use your phone.
Mm-hmm,
I've talked to numerous drivers out there. I refuse to do it.
okay,
They don't understand that. I mean,
Mhm.
they've told us repeatedly, hit map 2, they just want to know if the pins are right.
right.
I'm not doing that. I use my phone. I said, you can do both.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, however you want to get there is fine. The map
Groups come
2
through,
is just,
stress that it's
Yeah,
to help
just
your fellow
checking.
drivers. I
Yeah.
don't understand the pushback on it.
yeah, I don't either, because it's, other than waiting for that drive mode to drop off, it's really not a big deal to make that change. Anybody got any questions? Okay, if you know you're gonna be late picking somebody up, please call dispatch sooner rather than later. It's always better to let them know that you're running late rather than wait for a rider to call dispatch and dispatch to call you and, hey, where are you? Takes less of everybody's time and it can ease the mind for the riders. So that's the best way to handle that. If
Okay,
you
so
have-
has that changed? Because they used to not, if you're gonna be 5 or 10 minutes late, they told us not to call dispatch.
Okay, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
That's what it
I
used to be.
typically do it if
Within
I'm
the
gonna be
window.
more than 15 minutes late.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 5 or 10 minutes, that's within the pickup window. Some people get nervous about that, but we can't really control that, so, yeah.
The other thing about it, I just learned this, you know, about on the laptop, you got 2 times, right? One without the parentheses, that's the primary for that person to be picked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other time is the arrival time for the driver to be at that location, or?
Estimate.
That's the problem.
It's estimated.
Estimated.
Here,
Early
let's,
time's estimated time
let's
of
take a
arrival.
look, yeah.
Later time is the time, promised time they've been told.
Sometimes you get within that area there and you pull in and you're waiting and you know, people, and, you know, you're there, you know, you're supposed to be at the arrival time, you know, in that window there. And
Oh.
people
The
come out.
time in parentheses is the time.
Yeah.
Is the time
They were
Promised,
they were
that's
told.
right.
Yep, the 7:45, so up on the board here, 8 o'clock is when they're expecting us. 7:45 is our 15-minute early window.
ETA.
They're supposed to be ready, yeah, in this case, they're supposed to be ready for us at that point. A lot of them aren't. But we also, at least we used to, and I don't know if this is still true, we used to have 15 minutes after the pickup time as well for traffic issues and things like that. That's where we're talking about calling dispatch. If you're not gonna be there in that 15 minutes, dispatch can let them know when they call in, you know, oh, they're stuck in traffic, they might be another 5-10 minutes late.
And that ETA has done nothing but cause.
It has, yeah,
All
it
That
has.
ETA is how the system wants you to go, so the
Right.
rest of the day goes
Right.
accordingly.
Mhm.
You have to customize it just like you have to customize every ride.
Right.
Because if you're picking some up from work and they're coming out at 3,
They're not gonna be out 15
they're
minutes
not gonna be out
early.
there.
Yeah.
There's, you know what I
And-
mean?
yeah.
So you gotta
And the smart
customize it
people
based on
won't,
that
yeah,
ETA.
but the smart
Yeah.
people won't say pick me up at 3, they'll say 3:05, 3:10,
Yeah.
Right, correct.
Mhm.
which I've tried to tell people.
Yeah,
And that comes into, I've been having a lot of headaches near the end of the day because the system, when the route was generated, it's in a perfect world, right? The reality is that if you're doing 3, 4, 5 o'clock pickups on M24,
yeah.
that ETA goes out the window
Right.
and you're finding yourself kind of running behind, so.
Yeah.
That's because of traffic too, at 3.
Yeah, oh God. Stay off at 24 at 3 o'clock if you can. Does anybody have any questions about incident reports? I know I've heard that people are not wanting to fill them out or they're not sure when they should fill them out.
Not an option, right?
Yeah, if you're not sure if something is worth an incident report or not, just fill one out. Because it's better to have it and not need it than the reverse. So, yeah, if you're questioning that, just fill one out.
I guess I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a case where I needed to fill one out. I have been close to, if like, I asked Lila, I was like, this person like didn't seem well bathed and they were at a group home.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like maybe I probably should have. But anyway, the other day I had no idea. I just went to pick up this rider and it was somebody who used a job coach and I went to drop him off and the job coach was like, he's not even supposed to be here. He's been having these issues. Should I have filled out an incident report for that?
I guess I would have if the job coach was saying that there had been issues. I think I probably would have.
Okay.
And
They
then
weren't
wouldn't
issues for NOTA, it was issues for her.
for her, right?
So,
Yeah, just to let them know that there was some conversation between the job coach and either you or the passenger or both
okay.
about whether they were supposed to be there. And I don't think it would hurt.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever had it where they got a job coach person there and were told, oh, they're not supposed to be here today? You know, it's not their work day, it's
Yeah.
not, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. What do you do in that situation?
I called dispatch and let them know, and if I got time, they'll have me take them back.
Okay. And if
Actually,
they,
the only time it ever happened, I had time.
Okay.
So I just took them back home.
Okay.
Just Donnie.
Okay.
But yeah, what would happen if you had one 10
yeah,
minutes later?
right after, I think you'd almost have to take them
The-
with you and then
Or,
Yeah.
you'd
Or-
have to see if the job coach would at least
let them stay until
watch them
somebody
for 10
could pick
minutes
them
while
up.
the bus came.
Yeah,
So, I
Yeah.
don't know.
yeah, no, it's a
He
good,
was, like,
good point.
scheduled to be there,
Mhm.
but because he was
Some sort of health issue or
issues,
something, yeah. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, in that case, I'd ask the job coach to watch them for a few minutes while I make arrangements for somebody else to come get them, so.
You shouldn't trust the word of anybody else. I've had an issue in the past with what used to be Lake Orion Nursing Home, where I picked up a rider who was elderly and wheelchair confined, and they were going to a medical building, and they needed to be on the 5th floor.
Mm.
The DON rolled the patient out to me and said, she's good to go.
Mm-hmm,
There's no assistant there, there's no family member
Yeah.
there. So I'm gonna document that and I'm
Mhm.
gonna address it immediately because I'm involved in the situation.
right,
And you need to protect that individual.
I had the same thing
Yeah.
there several times.
Yeah.
People not being properly dressed in the winter,
Yes,
having to go in and they don't even know the person's scheduled to go. You
Yes.
have to go round them up and get them dressed.
yes.
Yeah.
We've had
That
issues,
place has been problematic.
pace too.
Yeah,
The
pace,
folks we drop off,
yeah.
oh,
it used to be that you couldn't even get into the building and you're sitting there for 15
They
minutes.
changed it to the side door, which is
We
better.
did because, yeah, I had a big
Okay.
conversation with Emma that this is not functional, this is a recipe for disaster.
Mhm.
And when in doubt, document it.
yeah,
Contact
turn it in.
dispatch.
Standing out there in the winter trying to get that door open.
Right?
Oh,
is
yeah.
a problem.
And you're with an antsy person who's confused?
Right,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
And now you're 5 minutes late?
Yeah,
I got a question for you. I've had 2 incidents lately, and I did not do an incident report, where riders became argumentative on the route I chose to go.
Oh,
oh
from A to
geez,
B.
okay, yeah,
And one guy got very upset and mad and took a cheap comment as he was exiting the bus finally. And I said, I'm going, follow my GPS.
mm-hmm,
And, and then another guy got really upset. And I said, I trust my GPS. And if we find ourselves in the wrong location, I will get you where you need to go safely. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Child psychology works really well in
Yeah.
those situations.
But I had 2
Okay,
guys
thank you.
lately that wanted to
Okay.
argue with the
Okay.
GPS. And I have a,
You know what you say? You say, that is totally the best way to go, however, I got information that there's an accident.
I usually make up
Oh,
something
yeah.
about my mileage being tied to my
Yep.
Force two
GPS.
said
Yeah.
there's an accident.
And I blame it on
involved that you
dispatch.
don't
I
know about.
say the girls will get mad at me if my mileage isn't right.
yeah,
So, but it happens.
yeah,
There's a rear profile M24.
I've got some different vehicles and they've got cameras in it. Which one the vehicle cameras work?
mm-hmm,
Eventually, they all will.
Like when we sit in here,
mm-hmm,
we're picking people who don't, never know who we're picking up
right,
or anything. Another thing is, as a driver, some people, they say things, and you don't know, and that
mm-hmm,
incidents happening on there, the drivers, and there's nothing, as a driver, it's my word against him.
Mhm.
There's a camera in there, like, the incident, things happen, you could record that, and that, like,
yeah,
I don't know that, I drove 3 vehicles, different ones, if the camera's working out, some do and some don't.
They've been installing them lately.
yeah.
The goal is to get them all done.
Yep.
Until
Yeah.
then, I would use the incident report if anything like that happens, so there's
And
there's
if
a
it
paper trail
happens,
about
you know,
it.
if it happens while you're driving, you can always call dispatch and say, hey, Mr. Smith thinks that we need to do this. Can you please explain to him why we need to do it the other way? And dispatch is really good at having your back. And
You can
coming
always
up
put
with-
your phone in that little thing
Oh, yeah,
and start
that's,
taping. If you get
that's
somebody
true.
who thinks that something could happen.
I got physically
I've done
attacked
that
by a
before.
rider once,
Yeah,
and I
that's
did
right.
that. I
Yeah.
I did it with Michelle DeAngelis.
Yeah.
What's that?
I did it with Michelle DeAngelis.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
No,
I've had to do it with her too.
I don't trust her.
I'll record stuff.
Yeah,
if
Yep.
need be.
Yeah.
I don't trust every.
Yeah, I
Okay.
could get arrested for some of the things.
Yep, I think
Michelle?
that's it. I think we are done. Thanks, everybody.
All right, so cool. Obviously, we don't have all time to do the whole shebang, so we're going to do the Cliff Notes version. And this time, instead of securing the wheelchair and making sure you guys do that correctly, that's for another day. We're going to talk about how important this is, your shoulder harness, right? So, let's have, who should we have? We're going to take you. You're going to be the guinea pig. First woman we've had in the chair, and there's some sensitivity to go with obviously having a female in the chair, considering 99% of us are. So, all right. So, the most important thing here is where the placement of this female is. Not this female belt, right? As you've learned before, or you know now, this thing belongs between the armrest and the body on the right hip, right? Now we have the male version over here. Again, look at the amount of slack I've got. I do this because you just don't know what adjustments you're going to need to make. Again, we'll put that between there, and you let her know, hey, I'm just going to put this buckle in and everything's cool. And you can give it a little adjustment because we know there's a lot of slack, right? Again, looking for that female to be on the right hip. You can then come to here. Again, look at all that slack, right? Be aware whether they've got a port up in his shoulder if they're dialysis or other ailments, or one case a gal had a trach or a pretty bad hernia, right? And she was very, Sharon Joseph, she was very cognizant of putting both hands in, and she'd hold the belt out there because it's like, and you don't fight with her, you just let it go because it's a comfort issue. In a crash situation, not the safest, but hopefully we don't get in a crash on our way to dialysis, right? So anyway, you can reach over again and say, hey, I'm just putting this shoulder harness on. You get it up there. Again, look at all that slack. We can come over here to the other side. Again, whatever your routine is, it doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you make sure you do the fundamentals, right? So you get to this point here, I'll always hold on to this because I don't want it to be yanking and reefing on her belly or anything like that. Take the slack out. Get it in the general vicinity. Doesn't have to be the hip. Depends on the size of the person. Depends on whether they're skinny or portly or whatever. This thing can move on the right side either way. A more portly gentleman, you're going to probably be a little bit more into the middle because he's got a barrel chest and a belly that takes a lot of the slack out of the shoulder harness. So then I'll come over here. Now bearing in mind, adjusting that female, I'm taking the slack out of this side from the floor mount. You don't want any slack in that floor mount because it's going to translate into forward motion in a crash, and that will hurt, right? So now I can come over here and say, again, I'll grab the thing here to take the pressure off, and as I'm adjusting that, I go, hey, is that comfortable? You okay with that? Again, I'm looking to bring this belt to the middle, but also take the slack out of this thing, right? Now I've got this to deal with. So if you look at it, that's in the right spot. This looks like it's going to fold. Now I can take the slack out of this, and I'll do that by holding this where it needs to be, and then I'm going to pull this out, right? So I'm not even reefing on her body whatsoever. I'm just taking all the slack out, and there it falls in a great spot. All because of that right side is in the right spot. Now, if you find that you can't get the adjustment on the body because of this thing as much as you'd like, your chair might be either too far forward or too far back. If it's too far back, then this belt's going to be here. If it's too far forward, the belt's going to be up in the neck, right? Again, what you're looking for is this deltoid muscle up here. You want that little valley in between, and it sits quite nicely, as you can see. Yeah? That's basically the gist of it. If that works, it works every time that this thing. There was some questions last time. This is my favorite setup because it's on my van, because it's all manual. I can get all the adjustment I want. You've got a lot of vehicles with the ratchet and the shoulder and the lower belt are on the same. I do too. It's a different animal. Principle is exactly the same. Female goes on the right hip, period. Okay? The rest will fall into place. You've just got to play with the slack to get that lap belt where it needs to be, Say that again?
Full body.
Yeah.
With those things with the one piece.
Mhm.
I think we all.
I do too. But we get what we do.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately. I was looking at trying to do it. Obviously, you guys have all done this before. You've done it. You've had some training. Are there any observations that you've come across that would be useful to share? Anything that works? Speak up, mate.
The right hip
Yeah.
is the best one to start with.
Okay.
And starting with all of the slack taken out of the belt.
It just makes it work, yeah. Again, if you've got, for one, but infinite slack, you just get that female in the right location, generally speaking, and then you just keep dialing that slack in and out. It works. This thing's awkward when you've got the ratchet because you got to pull it and you get the slack there and the slack here and you got to do it. Yeah, but the principle is still exactly the same. Yeah? Yes, Chrissy. Elizabeth. Yep.
Hooking up the female.
Yep.
Kind of like inadvertently touch her and
Right.
where she felt comfortable.
Sure.
So we just have to really be really cognizant and aware that that doesn't happen. Always yeah. Well, yeah. And even when I do it too, sometimes that last step where you go ahead and do whatever, I'll actually
Ask them to do that.
look at themselves and
But
listen for the quick to make sure that they actually
Yep.
locked it. But I let them do that part of it.
But if you have that infinite amount of slack, you can connect this thing way out here and not touch them, right? You can not touch them. Or back here, right? You can do that. So, and again, if you talk to them like Smitty does, I tend to do it. Hey, it does. And then again, that reassurance of, are you comfortable?
Yeah, because I know a lot of women,
Yeah.
they start getting anywhere close to that fear that.
Again, interesting you say that was Elizabeth, because we all know that our passengers are very unique and different. Elizabeth is a little opinionated on how things go. She would love to be our safety officer here. And again, she's a lovely gal. Think about life. She's headstrong. I love her independence. I mean, she doesn't want you to do anything. She's pulling the freaking fronts off and everything. It's like, well, you're wrecking my routine. And I'm glad we got to that because people will take their brakes off. Alan Goins, great example. I'll put him on the back of this damn thing and I can't even get up there to get him in. And he's got his brakes off and he's hurtling towards the seat. I go, Alan, what are you doing? And you know what he does? He flips me off. Okay, because he's just a cool guy. Hey, Nigel. Oh, you know, he said to me the other day, he goes, like earlier in the spring when it was cold, he said, you need a hat. I go, why? Because it's cold. He goes, no, because you're bald. I'm like, it's like, you can't make that crap out. It's great. You know, so again, communicate with your folks. But if you find that someone has got a bit of a personality where they like to be as independent as they can, let them know that you're wrecking my routine and my routine is about safety. Right? There's nothing wrong with communicating that. Elizabeth's a good example of someone that likes to do things for herself, and bless her for that. Right? Because she's not a victim. Right? She's not, oh, woe is me, I'm in a wheelchair. She's, no, let's go. Right? Okay. Are we all good? Cool. I'll let you disconnect yourself. And if you, I told her, no, I won't even say what I found. That is good. No, you're good. You're good. I had this gal say, you know, as I'm going about, I don't mean to touch you or anything like that, but you know, I'm going to be putting this thing. She said, oh, well, if you touch me, would that be extra tokens? I go, well, I don't know. It's like, it's pretty damn, really funny. So, yeah, you know, you're kind of sharing that somewhat intimate moment with somebody. It's kind of amusing. And yeah, pretty funny. All right, so let's go to the back of the bus because that's where I'm used to being, at the back of the bus.
There you go.
Cool.
Seated or unseated?
Always next to the driver. You sit there so I can keep my eye on you, right?
Oh, I'm going back here.
Okay. Everybody knows what this is, correct? Everybody uses it, correct? Glad to hear. Mandatory. So, Mandatory for what reason? Because we had a pretty serious accident, right? Yeah, a couple, right? And funny enough, I will be the first to admit, I never used this on a regular basis until that incident happened. A regular basis. Now it is regular. It's part and parcel. I think if you don't use this and someone gets hurt, you're done. Adios.
Didn't we say that that's
Zero tolerance. You don't use it, and
see on the camera and you don't.
whether there's an accident or not, if you get caught, adios. It's like a drug test. So, how many of you? Sorry.
Sorry, I had a rider the other day, a woman, who was like, "Oh well, does that really even work? You know, does that, you know, if yes, it actually works." She said, "Would it really actually stop you? You know, let me tell you," I said, "And if that thing is not behind you,
Yeah.
speak up and make sure that everything."
Right, right. How many of you roll up this lift with this in place?
I did it once.
Do you?
It's not gonna get clogged.
Okay, right. But how many of you do that on a regular basis?
Say that.
I don't have a problem. Maybe close it up after.
Yeah, if this is in like this, you guys, again, I don't think there's a wrong way. I personally don't, because it's part of my routine, you know, got a certain routine. Yep, there's a reason to do it if you feel inclined for your routine. But I always come, while I'm moderately agile, I step up on this thing. And when I don't get agile, I'll be using the door. So my routine will change. So be aware, if you do ride this up and down, that you'll get nicks, as Greg pointed. I had to replace this.
I thought we're not supposed to.
No, you can't ride the platform up. I mean, ride with this thing in place like this, if you were to fold this up. Yep. No, to be surprised, some people do. Right? So, but just be aware that when you pull this thing out, you can take a quick look at it every time. I noticed there was some, you know, some stretching and some nicks and things like that, so I replaced it. Okay? So just be aware of that.
I've had a catch you wouldn't lower the lift either.
Say that again?
I've had this one attached.
Yeah.
Just catch up here. At the end.
Yeah,
It
and it
wouldn't
would just
unfold.
bind it right up. Yeah. Oh, I had somebody back off. They had an electric wheelchair, quite a powerful one. Before I could get this off, they bent this piece of metal. Yeah, just bent it. Yeah, this one. So again, that communication of Elizabeth's a good example of someone that takes her brakes off, and Alan Goins and people like that. Let them know you've got a routine of, you know, I'm disconnecting everything, you take the brakes off and then you shuffle them around. So let them know, and you can communicate nicely. But again, yes, sorry.
I got a question. When it comes to deal with when people have a rear brake on the back side of the
Yes.
so you load them up, you secure the brake just like you would with their in a regular wheelchair, and then if you go around to the inside,
You can't take it off.
How do you unhook it?
Yeah, and isn't that a beauty? Okay, for me, because I am agile enough, I use my hand, and then I step up and I push them in. Now, others don't.
You release it while they're up?
I got them up, I got my hand on it, I release it, then I step onto the platform and I push them in.
You step on the platform?
Yep, and I walk them. I don't ride up the platform. When it's up and fully engaged and ready to push them in, I step up onto the platform and then I push them.
How do you back them out?
How do you do it?
You know what? I've been still a lot of times when I have that happen, I have somebody that's there with me. And
So you're improvised.
You do it as a team.
So you're-
I go in the vehicle and I tell them once I'm in the vehicle and I have hands on them,
Mm-hmm.
I say, "Can you do me a favor, release that brake?" And that's at Dutton Farms.
Yep.
Or and some.
I would say 80 to 90% of our drivers don't step up on the platform.
Right.
They go through the front. Right.
Yeah.
So again, what do? You know it's a dilemma. You can't reach back.
Yeah,
You can't.
from the inside.
Right?
Correct.
Can't do that. So whatever works. And asking somebody for assistance, it's the way to go. But again, if you've got this in place, the danger is if you drop that brake and walk around the side, the danger is they're going to roll forward, right?
You can't.
Well, it depends on the passenger, because Andrew, who's on Gallagher, Andrew Voorhees, he's not going to be able to do some of the other passengers. So who's the other guy? Justin over at Life Skills. He's not doing anything. He's not going to help you out.
No.
I love those rear brake wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Love them.
Why?
It's so much more positive to me, and I'm in control of it instead of.
I don't like them coming back out and get them out. Going forward, It's real easy.
Yeah.
When you back them out,
Yeah,
it's a different story.
Yeah. So again, you be aware of as much safety as you can, and if you need to ask help, you ask help. Anybody not recognize this? Anybody not use it? You used it once? Yeah. Everybody's used this because their thing broke, right? Yeah, you used it recently.
I did that.
Yeah.
Last yesterday.
How many of you received, Greg, how many of you received training on this? Or was it by osmosis?
By osmosis.
That's disgusting, isn't it? Anything
By
about it?
telephone.
By telephone game, yes. Trevor. Huh? You had training, yeah. I'm finding we're probably sitting at about 70% osmosis.
My one time was in Borderfield,
Yeah. So again, if you got any questions or whatever, which you obviously don't, you know how it uses. It's a floor jack at the back there, and you got the valve just like a floor jack up and down, right?
We haven't been running long, but I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. So this is safety response training and SDS training, all right? So I'll start off with the I'm going to say emergency response training. I'm going to start off with the emergency response plan. So that is a picture of the emergency response poster, and I got a real one over there on the window if you can see that. So these are posted throughout the building in every work area. I don't have any back here because we're really not working back here yet. I will say once the build out is complete, this is inhabited, the posters will change, the diagram will change, and the verbiage will probably change. But for right now, this is what we have to work with. I'm also going to add those things, sorry.
So sorry.
Mumolka, bring it up the rear. If there is an emergency, I'm not going to run around to look for a poster to see where to go, okay? I'll be honest with you. The exits, there's not that many of them. I see 5 on there that are identified up front, including the one going out of the dispatch office is one of the exits. But I'm going to go out the nearest exit if it's an evacuation emergency, all right? But you don't have to find a plan, but you do have to be familiar with them and where to find them if needed. And this is a little bit just blown up where you can see the map itself and then the verbiage. So I'll go ahead and start talking about if there's an evacuation emergency. Now, an evacuation emergency is going to be something like a fire or maybe a gas leak where we need to leave the building, okay? In that case, you're going to be notified by word of mouth or by PA system. And when I say PA, we don't have a big speaker system. We don't have a fire alarm to pull. We just have PAs on the phones. So that's not really going to cover everybody. We're going to use that, but we're also going to notify you by word of mouth that this is an evacuation emergency. The assembly point is one building to the north, so that's True Tech. There's a parking lot between True Tech and Lume, I guess is what it is, and that's where the assembly point is. We're going to go there, and we're going to stay put until someone from management comes out and lets you know it's okay to return. Now, we're going to take roll in that kind of thing, and I've got questions of how you're going to do that, and you're right, it's a little iffy. There are people in and out all day long, but with our laptops, we can tell what vehicles are out and about and which ones are here at base. We can tell who's punched in, that kind of thing, so we're going to whittle it down and make sure we account for everybody, all right? But you stay put in that location in True Tech's parking lot until management tells you it's okay to return. Doesn't matter if your purse is here or whatever it is. So the other type of emergency is going to be non-evacuation emergency. So if there's a tornado or let's say an air raid or something like that where we don't want you running out of the building, we want you staying put. We're going to shelter in place here, and we would like to find a place that's got no exterior walls is ideal for a tornado. We're limited on that. Like right now, those locations would be Richard's office, the women's bathroom up in the front hallway, and then the copy area that's kind of adjacent to all of that. That's the best we can do for no exterior walls, all right? The notification is going to be the same way. It's going to be through the phone PA system and then by word of mouth. And once again, you're going to stay in that location until someone from management releases you and lets you know it's okay to go back to the work area or go back out. So that is a non-evacuation emergency. Does everybody understand the difference of the two? Evacuation, we're out of here. Non-evacuation, Richard's office, girls' bathroom, that area. Okay. I'm going to move now to the SDS training. So SDS was always called MSDS forever, but OSHA decided somebody needed to find something to do, and they changed it up. They named it SDS. So SDS is just a safety data sheet compliance with all the products that we have here on site. We don't deal with a lot of hazardous chemicals. We don't have corrosives. We don't have explosives. I mean, it's pretty limited here. It's mostly cleaning products and just the bare essentials. So it's not a lot of things to respond to nonetheless. OSHA requires us and everybody to keep all this information available.
They let us slip not having that information in each vehicle?
Yeah, you don't need it in
That was
vehicles.
awesome. All right.
But for the building, it's got to be maintained, and it's got to be. There's a whole lot of information on an SDS. It's flammability and storage information, and you name it. Most of these SDSs are like 10 or 15 pages long for a product as simple as Windex. They're very long. I'm going to guess that if you really need SDS information, it might be in response to like first aid. Like I'm going to use the simple example of I sprayed Windex in my eye. What do I do? How do I treat that with first aid? So that's what the SDS information is there for. Now, historically, an SDS binder is kept in facilities usually, and it's a big, giant red and yellow binder usually, and it's probably that big, and it grows every year. We are required by OSHA to keep information in there for 30 years. So even if it's products you haven't used for 20, all that information's still got to be maintained, and that's in case somebody thinks they were hurt 20 years ago when they used to use some product. I mean, there's a reason for it to be maintained. Having said that, those binders grow every year. They never get smaller, and ultimately they're maybe thousands of pages long, which you don't want to be dealing with. Nobody wants to look for first aid information, try to thumb through, a giant binder. So what we've done is we went electronic with this. We've hired a company to keep it, maintain it electronically, and it's real easy to access, and that's what I'm going to go through next. So how do you find our SDS information if you need to? That picture there is of the poster, and there's a real one there. And I've got those placed throughout the building, and that's going to be the easiest way to access our SDS. There's a QR code on it, and you can scan that with any smart device, all right? Scan the QR code, and it's going to take you right to NOTA SDS library. And then once you're in there, you can look up any product that we have here. So this is where the poster locations are, and I'll start over here. That's the QR code, what it looks like, and it's in the bottom right-hand corner of the poster. That one there is over there, sort of, I call it the workstation area or the shop area where we keep oil and the jumper cables, that kind of stuff. So it's right above the laundry tub there. That middle picture there, that is over by the coffee machine. And then this one, I had to scrunch that picture up, but this is that little computer workstation over by where the lunch area is, the lunch table. So there's a poster up high and that cubby up above, and then below that there's a computer there, a computer monitor. There's an icon right on that home page of that computer, and that is to access it. If you don't have a smart device, you don't have a smartphone, let's say, you can click on the icon on that computer and it'll take you right to it also. There will be no logging in, no passwords, no anything, okay? So that's how you get to the NOTA SDS. Now, once you're in the SDS, this left picture there, that is actual screenshot from my phone. I scanned that QR code, and that's what it looks like when it came up. Ride NOTA, safety data sheet library. So now I'm in the SDS, I got to look for the product. I've got to look for that Windex that I sprayed in my eye. So you can do that in a couple of different ways. There's a search bar here, so you can type in a keyword, you can type in Windex, and it should pull it up. You can also, that middle picture, it's got everything listed basically alphabetically, and you can just scroll through that like you would on your phone. Swipe left, swipe right, whatever, but it's going to be up and down scrolling, and look for it alphabetically. Once you do locate it, it's going to, there's a picture, an example of what an SDS page looks like. Again, that is for Windex, but there's that particular one I think was 13 pages long, so there's a whole lot of pages there. Generally, the first aid stuff is going to be up near the front, and it's well marked if that's what you're looking for. Now, over here on the left is also, it's that same screen, but there's that green barcode. It says request missing SDS. So that's if there's something that is not in here, we can request it, okay? And I'll tell you about that a little bit more. The other thing under that where it says scan product UPC, that's another way to find the product you're looking for. So you can type in a keyword, you can scroll, or you can actually scan the barcode on a product, and that's another screenshot off of my phone. That is me scanning the UPC on the Windex bottle. Now that UPC is the same thing you use at Kroger or Meijer. You can scan that once you're in the library, scan it again with your phone, and it should pull up the the item. There it is, Windex Original Glass Cleaner. That's what it pulled up, and I say, yep, that's what I'm looking for. I hit enter. It's going to take me to the SDS. So everybody good so far on how to find a product? Okay. Now, that same scenario, I scan Windex and nothing comes up. I read this. It says, we were unable to find a matching UPC. What that means is, okay, that the product that you just scanned is not in our library. That means either I missed it when I inventoried it, or Richard went out and bought something new and I didn't know about it, we didn't add it, kind of thing. Okay, those are all possibilities. So in that situation, I want you to use that green tab, that green barcode, and hit request missing SDS. It's going to send me an email with the information, the UPC you scanned, the product information, and I know that I need to go find it, make sure it belongs here, and then I'm going to add it to the library. Or I'm going to say, no, somebody shouldn't have brought that in, or we don't use that. I'm going to dispose of it. Okay, but that's how you let me know that if there's something that's not in there that either should be added, or you're not even sure. All you know is you couldn't find it. Now this is regarding secondary containers. So we know we need secondary containers and we use them. A secondary container is like the old milk jugs that we now use to transfer from the 50-gallon drums into our vehicles. Okay, it's a necessary thing, but they've got to be labeled. We could have a situation, a day like today, where let's say we've got guests in here and somebody decides they want a big old glass of blue Kool-Aid because that's their favorite flavor. That would be a bad thing. We want to make sure that those jugs are labeled. That's not blue Kool-Aid, that's windshield solvent, right? Same with the empty, way on the right there, the Ace bottle. We've got a whole box of those in the storage room, and those are for people take Windex and they pour it into the spray bottle and they keep it out in their van so they can clean, right? That's fine. Empty bottles like that are fine, but once we use them, once we decide I'm going to fill this up with Windex, it's got to be labeled. All secondary containers have to be labeled. An example of not doing that and the problems it can create would be if Gordy likes to use bleach because it cleans really good and he leaves a half a bottle there, and then Hans comes in and says, ammonia, I like ammonia, right? That cleans the best. Well, now we got a mushroom cloud, we got a reaction. You can't mix things. We have to know what's in these bottles, so once they're in use, we've got to label them. You can come to Richard, me, Roger, we all know how to get into the system. You tell me what the thing is for. Okay, here's a new milk jug. Mine got smashed. Can you get me a label? I go into the computer system, I print a label. It's very easy and it's legible. Okay, it's not scribbled on there with a marker like we've been used to doing. Same thing with the Ace bottles. I'm going to use this one. My spray bottle died on me. It doesn't squirt anymore. I took a new one. Okay, Windex, let me label it. Now, if you find secondary containers laying around, and it could be somebody brought a jug in from home because it was the one that was out there got smashed or got a hole or whatever. I mean, things are going to happen, but I need to know about it so I can get it labeled. I need to identify what's in it and get it labeled properly. So if you see them, come to me, Richard, or Roger. We'll make sure we get them labeled. Everybody up to speed so far? Okay? The last thing I'm going to talk about is maintaining the integrity of the library. And it can get screwed up a couple of ways. It can be, we bought a different product because they were out of the one we usually get, would be an example. Or I missed one when I did the inventory. But the most common thing is people bringing stuff in from the outside and just setting them down. And I'm just going to use the Hans example because he likes to be helpful. He's always handy and he's always helpful. And Hans says, this black magic makes my tires so shiny and they look brand new. It's the best. You gotta use some of this. I'm gonna leave it here for the other guys. Okay. Well-intentioned, but now I got something that's not in the SDS because I didn't know about it. It's just sitting back here. Same thing with the wasp killer. Hey, hornet's nest out there. I killed them all. I'm gonna leave this here in case they come back. That kind of stuff happens, but if that does happen, you need to bring it to one of us, me, Richard, or Roger primarily. Let us know there's a nest out there. I brought in some wasp killer, or I've got a great new hinge oil product that works great. You guys should use it. Bring it to us. Let us determine if it belongs here, and we'll either get rid of it if it doesn't, or we'll add it into the library. Okay? But if the information is not in the library and something happens, we don't know how to react. You don't know how to get the first aid information, that kind of thing. Okay, I'll add on, OSHA comes in and does an inspection and audit. They're going to just grab random things and just check them. They're not going to check everything, but they're going to grab stuff and verify that they're in our SDS. And it's not because they're mean people. It's because it's supposed to be in there. They're keeping us on our game so that the information is available so we can respond if we need to, okay? So it's not about not getting fined by OSHA, it's about keeping the information up to date and accurate so everybody can access it. And with that, is anybody, did I go too fast? Because you all look like you're ready to sleep. You're free to enjoy the air conditioning until Emma kicks you out. All right, thank you.